Aloha once again, friends and family. Made a video a few days ago that I didn't post. It was good too, it was a good one. But boy did I go off. Oh boy did I go off. Quite a bit of swearing in that one. Because the level of insanity in the Matrix is almost beyond comprehension. Almost beyond comprehension. And, we've talked about all of these things. You want to know about what they're doing with the jab, go check out my bioweapon rollout video. If you want to know about the false flags, high likelihood of them incoming, check out my video, are they doing it again? And if you want to go way back in time, check out my video when the Nephilim fell, or when the Nephilim began to fall. I think that's my most viewed video. Kind of done in a skit format with characters. All spontaneous. Didn't really plan it. It just, this channel is a channel. Maybe not every time, but certainly most of the time. But today we'll speculate a little bit, I guess. What what doesn't it seem like the so-called mistakes being made, there's just no way in hell they're mistakes. There's just no way in hell. And isn't it odd that it coincides right around the time that the election audit results are going to be coming out? So they had to get something in the news, in the fake news cycle, to distract all the NPCs. See, they're really hoping they don't lose more of their NPCs, but unfortunately for them, they're losing more of their NPCs every minute, because NPCs are having their awakenings. Some of them are just dropping off, but the ones that are not dropping off are having their awakenings, and they're realizing they've been duped, and some of them are experiencing the dark night of the soul, and they're having their spiritual conversion moments, but they're coming out of the illusion at least. So either way you look at it, a lot of people are coming out of the illusion, whether it's by dropping body or dropping ego. Either one of those two takes you out of the illusion. So that's a good thing. You know, it's finally coming out what the JAB potentially does to people. And quite a few people are dropping body, just from that. And many more, to come, I'm sure, because metal is not supposed to be in your bloodstream. Except for some natural iron, perhaps, but certainly shouldn't make your body magnetic. Magnets don't belong in your bloodstream. But they got videos now where you can see people attaching metal to their bodies and it's staying stuck to their bodies because they've become magnetized. And I think it was Moderna that pulled a bunch of stuff, a bunch of junk off the shelves in Singapore because it was found to be containing a lot of metallic magnetized substances. Really, NPCs? You think that was a mistake? You think that was an accident? You think all this crazy weird stuff ends up in that crap by accident? And just to say, obvious stuff, like obviously this stuff hasn't been around long enough to be tested and have clear data. And if they weren't hiding stuff and they weren't lying their faces off, they wouldn't be silencing anybody. They wouldn't be silencing nobody. See, that's the thing about NPCs and the left. Let's take the election results for a second. If you participate in an electoral process, I don't care which side you're on, who you're with or not with, wouldn't you want to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that it was legitimate? That's why all these people on the left, when it comes to this, are full of crap. Because in Arizona, they're doing an audit to reveal the true election results, but the left is fighting them tooth and nail. Now, why would they be fighting them? Because aren't they the ones that have been saying, oh no, the election was completely legitimate. Everything was completely legit. Okay, then the audit will show that. Right? The audit will show that the left is right when they say, everybody voted for Biden, practically. The whole country voted for Biden. That's what they want you to think. That's what they think. That's how brainwashed they are by the fake news. But an audit will reveal the truth. And so that would be the left's chance to make everybody that's a Trump supporter look bad, right? Because the audit would reveal the truth. And then they would say, see, we told you. But they're not doing that, are they? They're fighting it in every way possible. They're actually breaking laws to fight it. Now, if you believe what your own mouth says, that it was all legit and everything was above board and this was the most secure election in history, like anybody believes that. But the audit would prove that. But they don't want that. Why? Why would they not want that? It doesn't make any sense, does it? It's total hypocrisy, isn't it? It's total... They're exposing themselves by trying to fight it. Because they know what the results of that audit are going to be. They know they lied, they know they cheated, they know they stole it. But with their mouth, they tell you the complete opposite. And then the fake news sits there and repeats nothing but lies and propaganda and deception and anything that stirs up hate and division, which lately has been about, race and gender studies, because we need to study man and woman to figure out all the other genders that are happening. Wait a minute, what? Huh? I guess they figure, if we get so ridiculous with stuff, if we get so absolutely retarded with stuff, that it'll just be so overwhelming to people with rational, clear minds that they'll just tilt. It'll be like a video, one of them old style video games, pinball machines, where if you started shaking the machine too much, it would tilt and you'd lose your balls. So they figure we're going to tilt and lose our balls. But that's not going to happen. They're just looking more ridiculous and ignorant, and hoping that somehow that's going to work out. I maintain my position that the Afghanistan debacle is completely intentional. These people are in a cult. This cult sacrifices humans, babies, anybody they can. It's a blood cult. And they've literally left thousands of people to the Taliban after they armed them heavily. They've left all those people to be sacrificed to their deity. If you're just now waking up, or you're just now coming out of the illusion, that's going to sound crazy to you probably, and you will think whatever you think. But if you've been awake long enough to know about this cult and how it operates and what it's into, then that won't be much of a stretch at all to realize. Because there's no way it's an accident. And there's no way they're going to get all those people to safety, wherever that is. See, what they're really doing is using that as a cover to bring unvetted, unchecked people into various countries. And then those very people may or may not be the ones that perpetrate the next 9/11. But either way, it'll be it'll dominate the fake news cycle and give everybody more fake narrative to go put in all the comments. See, a lot of these NPCs in the comments are just like Antifa members. I was just talking to a couple of these dumb knuckleheads the other day, a couple days ago. And these fools are saying that, Antifa's the true patriots. That's a joke. That's a joke. And one of the morons said, name one thing patriotic about conservatives, Republicans, or Trump supporters. And of course, my comments disappear from the thread. So it's a lopsided intellectual battle, because I can't even speak my mind without them erasing parts of what I say. Whoever it is, YouTube, whoever, the communist overlords. And so I just proceeded to go one sentence at a time. Patriots know the golden rule. Patriots know the Creator sees all. Patriots know that karma's real. On and on like that. And I gave them a whole list of the difference between a patriot and an Antifa thug. Patriots don't punch elderly people from behind. Patriots don't throw explosives at women and children. Patriots don't burn their own cities down and destroy their fellow citizens' businesses. So these people that flood the comments that are trying to pose as though Antifa or BLM are the true patriots are paid provocateurs, just like the ones that show up, like I said in another video, to harass people and beat people up if they can, 5-on-1 or whatever, because they're so weak and pathetic and impotent that that's the only way they can win. The same old strategies: cheating, lying, bullying, thuggery. That's the only way they can win. Because if we go brain to brain, Mr. Antifa, I'll expose you. I'll expose how off you are in your thinking. And if we went one-on-one, meaning a patriot and one of these thugs with green hair that looks malnourished and hasn't been in the sun for 6 months, it's just going to be a crush. So these people, are paid. So somebody, and we know who, as far as the, if you follow the money all the way to its source, we know who. But, these people are being paid to go in comments, just like the fake news people are being paid, and just like the thugs in the streets are being paid. So somebody's paying for all this lying, deceiving, bullying, jackass tactics. Somebody's paying them. Otherwise they wouldn't be there. They wouldn't be doing it. They wouldn't be in the comments saying such ridiculous, retarded, stupid things. Like they're the true patriots, but they don't do a single thing that's patriotic. So, we just got to see it for what it is. It's sickening. It's disgusting. It's sad. It's pathetic. But nobody violates the cosmic law forever. Nobody evades karma. And so the more these people violate free will, the faster they're going to go down. That's why they used Hollywood and or fake news, either through movies or through the fake news, to signal what they're doing, to sort of tell you in advance, because they somewhat understand how karma works. And if people do things of their own choosing, then no free will was violated. See, if they can get you to willingly go get nanobots injected into your bloodstream and heavy metals and whatever else, then they didn't violate your free will. They just scared you, and in your fear, you made a stupid decision. So that's not really a violation of your free will, even though it's a sick manipulation and a terrible deception. But see, you're supposed to be awake. You're supposed to be more with it. certainly more with it than the perpetrators of deception. So that's why Hollywood was so effective in the fake news, because they always use fear to get you destabilized, and then you make mistakes, and they can, say, well, we didn't violate nobody's free will with that. But see, they've pushed so far now, and they've gone so over the top with it all. Now they are violating people's free wills. When you start breaking the Constitution and subverting the laws of the land, you're violating free will. And see, here's what I came to understand recently, was that to whatever measure they violate free will, then those that are on the other side of the veil can violate their free will from across the veil. What does that mean in simpler terms? That means there's cosmic help. There's cosmic assistance by beings that can't be touched, by third dimensional beings. So they literally have zero defenses against any one from across the veil. So whenever they violate free will, it let us say it like this, it opens the veil for those on the other side to come across into the lower astral plane and to do some spiritual ass whooping. Because generally speaking, they don't do that. They don't violate free will. See, that's the thing. Those on the other side of the veil don't violate free will of those in the lower astral plane until those in the lower astral plane violate other people's free will. And so there is karma in action then, right there in real time. We'll prove it. Prove it. How are you going to prove that? You either know how cosmic law works. You can either understand it or you can't. So there's nothing to prove. You just know. You either know or you don't. What doesn't happen is that a bunch of people praying, God, come back here and start smashing people, the people that we deem worthy of smashing. And then finally God says, all right, I've had enough of this shit. And then he shows up with his rod of iron and starts smashing stuff. That's what doesn't happen. It doesn't work like that. So you got to understand how it does work. And since, as we've learned, come to know, I am, then God works through I am. So does that mean God, if you will, empowers humans to do what needs to be done? And it, don't just be one-minded about what you think I'm meaning here. It just means, it could just be a word. It could just be exposing something. It could just be enlightening a dark corner somewhere so that light. See, all we need is light. That's it. Anything in a dark room is going to be illuminated with light. So you don't have to then do everything in the physical, take action. If you just illuminate everything and everybody can see clearly what it is we're looking at, then that alone will be the action, because the action will be withdraw. See, you withdraw your support. Like if everybody, let's have an example. If everybody was illuminated about the fake news, then everybody would turn it off. Everybody would say they're not trustworthy, they've been deceiving and lying and sowing division, and so nobody would watch it anymore. All right, so what action would need to be taken if nobody was watching it? None. That's it. All it needed was light, and the light revealed the truth, and then everybody in that understanding of the truth said, okay, I'm withdrawing from it. I'm taking back my own mind, my own ability to think and perceive and look at things. And so then that would just implode. It would just fall to pieces all on its own. See, nobody had to go there with the bulldozer and knock the place down. We could just repurpose it. See, all the things being used for darkness and deception could just be repurposed. The MSNBC studio could just be repurposed and become an outlet for truth and justice and informing people about what this country is really about and what the people of this country are really about. And it's not racism, privilege, and we're confused about who's male and female, that we need to study it, and we need to send millions of dollars to Iran so they can study it. Like, they don't study it. What they do is they bury you up to your neck and throw rocks at your head. That's their form of studying it. So what was the millions of dollars we sent them really for then? Wasn't to buy rocks, because those are free. They're just laying around. So the truth is coming forward. I know this is a slow process, and it's got a lot of bullshit that we have to wade through to get to where we're headed. I've been saying for years now that third density is dissolving and collapsing. And that's true now more than ever. If you couldn't see it 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when I first started talking about it, I would think you could see it now. And see, depending on how awakened you've become or not, you still might think that the light is losing, because they make it look that way. They make it feel that way. But see, all of this had to happen like this. All of this has to happen for people to awaken, because you can't force truth into people. See, that's the thing about not violating free will. They work the opposite way. They work in terms of, we will force this into you, we will beat this into you, we will overwhelm your mind with this crap until you finally give in and give up. But our side doesn't work like that. Our side says you can awaken if you want to. And if you don't, you can go that route too. You have free will. If you want to go the way of destruction, you're free to do it. So this all had to happen so that people, NPCs, would awaken. Come to realize how they've been manipulated and hypnotized. If you want to know what hypnosis looks and sounds like, talk to any NPC, because they display all the symptoms of what a person under hypnosis looks and sounds like. So just, know, like Tunnel Mental says, God wins. My version of that is I am wins. Because God is a distorted term that usually means deity. But we've covered all that in previous videos. If you're new here or you're just coming across here or whatever, check out my video called We Just Defeated the NWO. And I freaking killed it in that video. I laid it out so succinct and so clearly that a blind gazelle could see it. But he's right. He's right. God wins. Light wins. Source wins. And we are all preparing to experience heaven on earth, or heaven, or Eden, wherever that might be. More than likely it's here, and there's just overlays, and you enter into different realities based on where your frequency is and whether or not you can vibrate at that frequency and thus be in that world, and it's overlaid in the same space as what we call right here. Either way, it doesn't matter. If when we're in heaven, we're all together, everything, all the bullshit has ceased. There's no more deception, lying, deceiving, killing, stealing, etc. It's not going to matter where it is. The only thing that's going to matter is are we there? And we're headed there. We're headed there. And I literally believe, kind of sounds dumb, I really think that there's two Earths, at least, but for the sake of the division between dark and light, there's going to be two versions of Earth, or two Earths. Again, they could be right here in the same place. You just perceive one or the other, depending on where your frequency is, where your heart is. But for the division of light and dark. So those of darkness are continuing on in third density on the earth that manifests in third density. And then those of us moving into the new earth or heaven, or 4, 5, 6, and up density, which is New Earth. And the separating of the wheat and the chaff is happening. And you're going to end up on one of those two Earths, wherever that might be. But probably and likely right here. So hold the line, people of the light. Hold the line. And I know, we have up days and down days. It's so unstable in the matrix. And so you might be out of the matrix, but you're still hearing about it, seeing it, perceiving it, and having to deal with it on a lot of levels until that great and glorious day where we're fully locked in to Eden or New Earth. And that bullshit's far behind, and we don't have to think about it, talk about it, feel it, or perceive it anymore. But you can see the dividing process happening. You can see, the two paths. So that's mainly what I had to talk about for today. I'm going to pause this and do a little meditation and see if anything else comes to me. If it doesn't, then that'll be the end of this one. And love, unity, and light, my friends, until next time. But I'll go ahead and pause it and do a little meditation and see if anything else comes forward for today. Reflect. That's what came to me.